Hey everybody, it's Luke over at Galaxy Tech Review, and today I've got Assassin's Creed Syndicate on the MSI GT62VR with that GTX 1070. Up in the left-hand corner, of course, you can have GPU temperature, frames per second, CPU temperature, and system RAM usage. Now, Syndicate is a good example of if you have this on the highest settings, even a GTX 1070 will have a little bit of difficulty running. If we go into display, our refresh rate is 60 Hz and we are at 1080p. VSync is off so you can see the total frame rate. Graphics preset is ultra high. This is the highest preset that you can set in the game. You've got PSS Ultra for shadow qualities, HBO Plus Ultra, MSAA 4X Plus FXAA. And we're going to average anywhere between high 40s and 60 frames a second on these particular settings in 1080p. If you want to drop this down one, to maybe HBO Plus or FXAA, you're going to then be able to maintain 60 frames a second. But in ultra high, as this is set up now, you are going to notice that for the most part, we are not going to maintain 60 frames per second the entire gameplay. And that's just a word of note. Again, the GTX 1070 is a very powerful graphics card, but there are certain games that you still will not be able to play a solid 60 frames a second on at the highest settings that the game will allow. So that's why I wanted to do this at the highest possible settings so that you can see, obviously this isn't a first-person shooter, so it's not going to be that big of a deal if we dip below 60 frames a second, sometimes even into the 40s, and still have some smooth and fluent gameplay. Not going to be a problem. But again, as I said, if you want to drop it down to the high preset instead of the ultra preset, or I think they call it very high, you'll instantly get a jump from 50 to 60 frames a second to over 70 frames a second. So you can easily do that just by dropping it down. I'll let you guys check out the gameplay here. Currently, right now, we're at 78 degrees on the GPU and right around 80 degrees, 78, 80 degrees on the CPU, using 5.5 gigabytes of the 16 gigabytes of system RAM. So overall, all within normal temperatures and everything that way. I'll let you guys check this out, and then I'll be back at the end.
What's all this? Which one of you is responsible? Oh! Bloody hell, did you get out of here? Who are you?
The sanitary inspector. This man is dead.
You're the dead man! Run along, help. Shot it, teach you how to beg for mercy.
I'm in big trouble. Please, no more.
Ferris, I'm coming. Time to head for higher ground.
Fellows are just plain strange. He's too big for my size. Over there.
Come here and face me!
Oi! That don't belong to you.
Impressive, or it will be your head. See those docks? The iron ships are there. Now get to work. Rules here are plain and clear. You won't like it, I come over there. Then you get that. You don't, then you can run for your gun. On your way, or we might run out of
You'll feel my fist! Now what of that? Let's make a mess!
planning next?
Airships.
Yeah, incredible, isn't it? Who told you?
What's he up to, I wonder?
Mr. Ferris, sir, the lad in the factory should be taken to be bandaged by the apothecary.
Fine, but dock his wages.
Yes, sir.
Shall we arrive at a final price, Mr. Ferris?
Profit for many a year to come. Provide the raw material to build several new trains. I expect a knighthood for this. No, don't write that. It is my hope that this good news may please you. Await further instructions. I am, etc., Ferris. So, Mr. Starrick, how's your father these days? The doctor said this facilitated a speedy return to good health.
It is done.
Oh? What did you accomplish, boy? A bolt loosened in Starrick's machine. A large bolt, but not enough.
Your Grandmaster will fall.
You assassins can circle London to your heart's content. The mechanism we have built has been going strong for 100 years and will run 1,000 more. It is the very city itself.
We will take London from your hands.
From Croydon, you lurk in the shadows like a coward. I doubt it.
So that's Assassin's Creed Syndicate on the MSI GT62VR with that GTX 1070. And the GTX 1070 does a pretty good job, even on Ultra. Again, this isn't a first-person shooter, so I don't mind that it dips into the high 40s and 50s during gameplay. If you want it on Ultra settings, you can play it that way. But my suggestion is, as we take a look again at the ultra high settings, everything being maxed out here, you can probably drop down ambient occlusion or shadow quality and maintain over 60 frames a second, still being in ultra high quality. So you can mess around with those settings just to get that 60 frames a second and have no problems there whatsoever. Maintaining a solid 60 frames a second, but I did want to run this as totally maxed out as possible just to show you what the GTX 1070 is capable of in this situation. So the GTX 1070, as powerful as it is, still has its limitations on certain games, on certain settings. That being said, you can easily take care of this by just dropping the graphics preset from ultra high to very high, and as you can see, those are the settings there. Still a lot of stuff that's on, and you'll instantly get a jump to about 75 to 80 frames per second by just doing that. So that's Assassin's Creed Syndicate. This was Luke from Galaxy Tech Review. If you want to see any other games on this laptop, leave them in the comment section below. Remember to like, and if you haven't subscribed already, please do so because that always helps me out. And I'll check you guys out on the next video.